All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Functional Fitness Uncensored. We are on episode 7,452. It's a milestone episode for us. Super excited about it. So today is January 27th, 2026. And if you started a New Year's resolution, if you're still going at this point, like you're probably in the minority. So I want to help you with
I
that.
mean, like, that'd be like 20% of the population, right? That would still be going at this point.
I'll probably ask ChatGPT during this just to see like what it says about this. How many people are still successful with the resolution 3 weeks after starting, and see if we can get some data on this. But the
I
vast
feel like
majority,
you just sent an email out about this.
it's very possible that I wrote something that Aaron wrote that sent an email out. So I'm not always sure on what is going out, but we have written a lot on this stuff. So we're going to talk about it today because I think it's a relevant topic. Because you probably started something new this year, or maybe there was something that you wanted to do and you were really good with it for a couple weeks, and now maybe you've fallen off a little bit. So what do you do? Do you just give up? I don't know. We're going to talk about it. What do you think, Ashley?
Think that I guess some of it depends on what it was and how, if what you were trying to do was actually going to help you get to what your goal is. So often we set these things that we're going to do, and we like, it goes both ways for goals. Like, we have a goal and we don't have an actual path to get there. So instead we do nothing and we don't take any action, or we do all these steps, but we don't have an end goal of what we want to achieve with them. So like, I'm going to work out 5 days a week. Give us a number, like looking in the grand scheme, like I'm going to do this many workouts in a month, or this many workouts in a quarter, or this many workouts this year. And then we realize that maybe 5 times a week isn't all that realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So I think setting some realistic goals. So like your New Year's resolution was to get healthy. And for some people, getting healthy or getting fit or whatever is like, I'm going to train 6 days a week or 7 days a week. And like, guys, I've been doing this a long time. Those are not the people who usually make it for the very long time. They usually start on the lower end. And as they ebb and flow and evolve, those days increase because it becomes part of their lifestyle. They're not trying to make it their lifestyle.
One thing that we talk about, and so I just pulled this up on the GPT, and it gave me a few things, but some surveys suggest only about 25% of people are still committed at 30 days, right, of starting their New Year's stuff. Longer term outlook, ultimately only about 9% finish their New Year's resolutions by year's end. So I think you were spot on.
9%?
Yeah. So 1 out of 10 people actually make it through the whole year, right? Which is a few things that I think are important here. And you mentioned them, and I'll elaborate on them a little bit. One, I think people bite off more than they can chew right away, just because I am motivated on January 1. Like, I just maybe feel like it's a new year, like I'm in a great headspace. Like,
I woke up and I'm a whole
going to
new
be my
person.
year, right? This is going to be my year, which is good. Like, that motivation is awesome, and that can help us get started. But sometimes that motivation causes us to bite off a little bit more than we can chew, or we think we can do more than what we actually realistically can consistently do day in and day out. Because if you are still doing your thing to an extent, we're 3, almost 4 weeks in, it's probably starting to, one, become a little bit more mundane, because now like the dopamine and all that fun stuff that gets us motivated to do things at the beginning is pretty much worn itself out, right? And so it's become mundane. So we're not getting it's like the fun novelty to it anymore. And probably some life has happened now too, where it's interrupted our pattern. And many times when we have something new and we have a pattern interrupt happen, because it's so new, it's not ingrained into what we're doing, we have a tendency to fall back into old patterns, which are ones that we're trying to improve on, but aren't that new thing that we just started, right? So then we stop doing the new thing, go back to the old thing, because it's easier for our brain to be able to execute on that stuff, because all this stuff is happening, right? Kids get sick, dogs throw up, injuries happen, like you name it, right? These things happen. And many times it's because we started with ideal from the beginning rather than what's one step in that direction where even if things go haywire, I could still do that thing, right? So maybe that's not 6 days a week. Maybe it's 2 days a week. We actually discourage people at the gym if they're like, hey, I want to train 6 days a week. Cool. Like, we're not going to do that. And here's why. Right? Like, it's just not sustainable, right? And
I do want to say, like, I am pro walking every day. Like, maybe we should, like, but coming to the gym for a scheduled appointment or scheduled training session 6 days a week is just not realistic, and like really not that all as beneficial to you as you want it to be.
Right. And so I personally like when we do start new things for it to be a daily behavior. I think those are really easier to stick to, but it's a behavior that can be accomplished without a whole lot of hoopla, right? It's not a 60-minute workout every day, right? But maybe it's a 10-minute walk after dinner, right? Or maybe it's a vegetable with lunch every day or something simple that at least moves you in the right direction, because we can build on that. It's a whole lot easier to take something simple, get consistent with it, and build on it rather than trying to go ideal and like maintaining that level of intensity for a long period of time, right? We've talked about this at length at nauseum before, this idea of like 75 hard. A lot of people are familiar with this concept, right? Which I think there are some very valuable things that you can get from doing really hard things and dedicating yourself to doing something for a period of time. But
Honestly, I don't see that as the beginner solution. You want to get started and you want to do it. Jumping into a challenge like that really isn't for the beginner. That is for someone who's really looking to test limits and boundaries. Like I have done it. I'm like all for like there is a place to test limits and boundaries. But when we're talking about a resolution and your thing is to like start working out or get healthier or improve, insert whatever health markers, I just know that at the end of the 75 days of that, or at day 30 when you quit, which is what I see happen to so many people, you weren't really in the minds, you don't know how to overcome that mindset stuff because you haven't done it consistently for a few months before that or more than that. Like you need some consistency and some things that you can do repeatedly before you jump into that. Like that's the deep end, guys. Like that's not just like the deep end with like in your pool, that's like the deep end here that has sharks in it. Like things are going to come out and bite you, and
big,
it is not going to be
big,
fun when you're
big
doing a 70.
sharks, like
Big sharks. I've seen them.
great white sharks.
I mean, I caught a
Hungry.
hammerhead. Does that
They're
count?
hungry hammerhead. Hasn't eaten in a week. Foot looks good. So here's a way that you can think about it. If things have fallen off right now and you aren't as consistent anymore as maybe you were in the first couple of weeks, I think this is a great time to pause, reflect, right? There's nothing wrong with you, right? Actually, 9 out of 10 people are in your exact same situation. I should say 9 out of 10. 7 out of 10 people are in your situation right now. So it's actually really common, more common than being successful. But the people that are successful long term are the ones that are able to pause and reflect without emotion on what was it that they set out to do, what was the plan, what was the process, and where did things go wrong, right? Did I bite off more than I can chew? Did I decide to do more than what was actually capable? And maybe you didn't, but maybe you fell off in the process, right? I didn't actually have a good process to executing this. I just said I was going to work out more. Cool. Like, what does that mean? Can we define it? Where are you going to work out? What are you going to wear when you work out? Are you going to work out in the morning, in the evening? What are you going to do when you work out? Are you going to strength train? Are you going to do cardio? Like, did you have a plan? Did you have accountability? And so there's more to this than just like, hey, I want to do that thing. Cool. That gives you direction. But then we need to actually put the pieces in place so that we can do that thing easily.
Well, it's like all of these things are hurdles, and by making these decisions, you just lower the height of the hurdle. Like, do you have to run and sprint and jump over them, or can you like just walk over them and like walk in the front door of the gym? Like, these are all hurdles that like lead you to the gym. Oh, I don't know what I want to do today, or oh, I'm I'm really like whatever, insert whatever the thing is. If you haven't made that hurdle really low or removed it completely, you're going to have a harder time, and it depends how many hurdles are in between you and getting to the goal. Like, and those can all be adjusted, height, distance from you and the goal. Like there's so many things, but like what are they and can you overcome them? And this is like really when it comes to like how do you work with a coach and how do we work with clients, we help you overcome hurdles. We help you spot hurdles that you might not even see as being something as simple as like, what days do you want to train? And they're like, and people are like, I'll like, can we make it week to week? I'm like, I have found that people are the most consistent with getting in the gym when they know what days and times they're going to be in the gym. All of my clients do that. All of my clients have consistent training schedules. It makes a huge difference.
All right. Everyone is, I like the hurdle analogy. That was good. Good job
Thanks.
there. So playing off of Ashley's hurdle analogy, right? So there are going to be hurdles. There are going to be barriers. There's going to be things that are going to get in the way of you accomplishing the thing that you want to accomplish. So when you hire a coach, right, They're like your technique coach. They teach you how to get over that hurdle more efficiently, more effectively, or maybe they help you remove that hurdle altogether because they've seen other ways to do it and you don't have to go that direction. You can go a different direction. Or maybe they lower the hurdle because they're able to look at it with a different perspective. Like this hurdles thing is a really good analogy. And that could be using a coach, it could be using other things, but finding ways to minimize these hurdles to make it a little bit easier to get to where you want to get to. Because there are always going to be barriers in what you're trying to do. But the more you can kind of visualize or think about all the things that could potentially go wrong, and then strategize around what you would do, and then ultimately bring it back to what we call principles. That's how we start to become successful long term, because you develop this into a routine where then you also have if this, then that type of scenarios in your brain. If I get home and there's nothing to eat, right? I'm not going to just order pizza. I can X, Y, and Z. I could go to the store and get a rotisserie chicken and some steamables from the frozen section. And now, boom, I've got protein and veggies without having to cook anything, right? Or if I go to X restaurant, let's call it Subway, I'm going to get double protein. I'm going to get lots of veggies on it, right? I'm going to get a 6-inch instead of a 12-inch, right? So you start to develop these strategies that align with where you want to go, right? And that just takes time to develop this stuff. And if we don't actually give ourselves a chance to develop it because we started too strong and gave up and we're just like, screw it, this is too hard, we never get a chance to improve. So that's why we want to start small, because then small can become a little bit bigger and then a little bit bigger. And then the other thing that this does is it builds confidence in you, in your brain, that you can actually follow through. And it develops the mindset that I am a person that follows through and I am a person that does this, which is probably more powerful than everything else, because what we tell ourselves and how we see ourselves is ultimately how we're going to act. Right. And so that's the ultimate, that's the holy grail, right? Is seeing myself as someone that does this stuff, or seeing myself as a fit person, or seeing myself as insert whatever it is that you want to do.
And I mean, like, I think that's super important. Like, you were talking about, like, confidence and like all of that kind of stuff. Like, there's a huge thing about us breaking promises to ourselves and then like being disappointed in ourselves. And this is where the big bang for your buck on having a coach is that like we help hold you accountable to the promises that you make yourself. And we just help you instill them and make it about you keeping the promises to yourself. And it's not really about us and you making promises to us. But I do find that that is a huge thing for people and overcoming that. And whenever I think about making promises to yourself, it's like I always think of setting your alarm clock and how many times you hit snooze and break that promise to yourself that that's the time you're going to get out of bed. So many of us start our day behind and breaking our very first promise that we made to ourselves that day. And I think like that can be a huge impact and turnaround to like what the rest of your day is, and like continuing with like showing up for yourself and like doing the things that you say you're going to do if you start doing that first thing in the morning.
I think we have actually done a whole episode on the alarm clock thing and the snooze thing.
And those two people marry each other.
The person that
The person
doesn't
that hits
snooze,
snooze 15 times and the person that either doesn't wake up without an alarm clock or like literally their alarm clock goes off and they roll out of bed first thing. And they marry each other.
well, hopefully the person that gets out of bed on the first alarm is the first person getting up and they're not the second person getting up. So ultimately, the name of the game is continuing to play the game. And so this is a rest of your life thing, right? Striving for better health and good health is a worthy endeavor to keep.
It's like a
working
lifetime
on.
achievement award.
It's something worth investing time, effort, energy, money into, because it makes everything else better inside of life, right? And so if you stop playing the game because you played the wrong game right away, you're done, you're out of it, and you don't get that chance to continue. Yes, you can always restart, but a lot of people run into issues because they are constantly restarting instead of just making small incremental improvements and building on each building block. And so we want to see this gradual increase. We don't want to see this high intensity fall off completely, high intensity fall off completely. Because many times when we get back into it, we're actually starting behind where we were more the first time. So we're always kind of digging a little bit deeper of a hole. And much of it comes into a mindset shift of starting small, incremental improvements, a level of self-compassion of if something does go wrong, it doesn't mean I start over. It just means I continue on. And I'll give you the toothbrush analogy. So have you heard this one from Jen Brockstrom?
I don't know if I have or
Okay,
not.
this is a good one. You can use this one with your clients too, but you might already know it. It's a really good one. So, Ashley, do you brush your teeth every day?
Yes.
Okay. Are there maybe every once in a while when you don't brush, like let's say like you're up really late or like you just like tired and don't want to brush
No,
your
dude,
teeth?
I always
All
brush
right,
my
so
teeth. That's like
there
not a
was this one
negotiable.
time when Ashley didn't brush her teeth because she didn't have a toothbrush. It fell in the toilet and she didn't want to brush her teeth with toilet water. So she just decided to go to bed, right? The next morning, did you brush your teeth or did you say, hey, I missed my toothbrushing last night, so screw it, I'm not going to brush my teeth the rest of the week, like I missed the day, I am going
No,
to
but
start brushing my teeth on Monday?
I feel like I need to brush my teeth right now because you're making them feel very dirty with this whole conversation. But no, I would just brush my teeth the
The
next
next
time I would
morning.
like yeah.
Correct. So most of us, when we think about it in a brushing our teeth scenario, it just makes sense. All right, I missed it last night. Cool, whatever. I start again. I brush my teeth again in the morning because that's just what I do, right? And so now take that same mindset because you've been taught to brush your teeth twice a day since you've been 3 years old, right? Take that same mindset into the endeavor that you're undertaking. Maybe it's nutrition, or maybe it's exercise, or maybe it's sleep, or some other thing that you're working on, right? Where if you have a day where you screw up, cool. It's not oh, I'm going to wait till Monday, or, oh, I'm going to wait till next month, or, oh, I'll wait till the next challenge or whatever someone runs. It's like, okay, cool. Like you forgive yourself and then you get back on as quickly as you can.
Well, and I'd also like to say this goes like when things are busy, you don't just stop brushing your teeth. You make
Well,
time
right.
to do it every
Correct.
day as well. So like it goes in a lot of phases. You don't just skip brushing your teeth. And like maybe you should make it something people would never skip on, like having a cup of coffee in the morning.
Yeah. I mean, you could put it with whatever you want, right? But there's certain areas of our life where if we miss it, we just get back on track right afterwards. So like someone can do it. Like you can that's a piece of it. You can do this. I could probably look at every single person's life and find areas of your life where you are extremely consistent, where you are just executing every single time, right? So it means that you can do it. This is not like a personality flaw or something like that. You're not broken. And so it's just taking that thing. And most of the time it's because it's too hard. If I asked you every single day to brush your teeth for 45 minutes, yeah, it's not going to happen, right? And so it's small though. It's really, really small. And so can we take that same intensity scenario, whatever, and just apply it to these other areas? So hopefully that's helpful in thinking about the changes that you're making. And maybe if you've fallen off already, maybe this is what you need to just kind of like get back on track. Make sure you have pieces in place to make it easier, things like accountability, potentially a coach, maybe a friend, anyone to make the experience a little bit better. And yeah. Ashley, anything else you got?
No, I think that was good. And I hope this helps. And if you guys need any help, you know where to find us for some support.
All right, everyone. Have a great day.
Sounds good. Bye, everybody.
Deuces.